speakers. Good afternoon. I'm Mohn from InPlay. InPlay is a fabless semiconductor company. Our end product are chips. And I'm going to be talking about our no-code Bluetooth SoC. It's called the IN100, specifically used for asset tracking, so that makes it very pertinent to this RFID Journal live show. And I just want to say I am very grateful for the RFID Journal live show. And the reason is a couple of folks from InPlay came to this show back in 2019 just to come to understand the market. And I always find, the most interesting applications, really real world applications, people solving real problems with RFID, HERDX. That was it's always kind of mind blowing to see what people are doing out there. But we've come to do some due diligence as a chip company. We have been working on Bluetooth low energy SoCs that have microcontrollers in them. And as such, they can address many different sorts of applications. We were going for applications that required connections between many different devices and with low latency requirements up to that point. And after that show in 2019, our CEO Jason came into my office and he said, "Russ, I really want to make a chip that's as easy to use as an LDO." So an LDO is a low dropout regulator. It's a very simple chip. It's something you would buy from a supplier and just look at the data sheet. Okay, it's very simple, 1 page, 2 page, put it on your board and it works. Okay, just the idea is a very simple chip. And up to that point, we've been working on these MCU-based products where the design cycle for firmware is quite long. So we sell the chip and it takes maybe a year for the customer to finish the application and start selling their product. So Jason said, for this RFID market, we have to make it very easy to use. And that's why we came up with the no-code version. So that was the birth of the idea to set the specifications for this chip. So our one objective was super easy of use, no code. The next objective for RFID had to be low cost. Anytime you're making, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of tags or labels, and you're competing with a passive technology that costs, cents or tens of cents. In the Bluetooth low energy world at that time, the tags were at least an order of magnitude more expensive. So we knew that we had to really hit the cost objective in order to make it mainstream. We really wanted to enable people to make it mainstream. And we set a target for $1 tag out the door. So we worked backwards from there and figured out how much our silicon had to cost and what sort of bill of materials had to be there. We really got it down to 2 components, a capacitor and a crystal, to really get the cost down for whoever wants to use our chip. And in addition to cost, we also know that the power consumption is also of the utmost importance for RFID. So we wanted to enable any sort of application for the batteries, or as a wide number of sources for batteries as possible, form factors, different chemistries, even no batteries. Energy harvesting, we think that's very, very exciting. We've done some interesting projects in that area as well. So these were the 3 main driving factors in the conception for the no-code IN100 NanoBeacon device. And we brought it to market in about 2 years. We actually presented it, or brought it to the show in 2021 with a market launch push. And I'm here just to kind of give you, let's say, an update and talk about some of our interesting projects. Well, anybody that missed it the first time, give you some background on it and fill you in on some of our interesting projects that we're doing with some customers now. So just to really emphasize what's different about the NanoBeacon, it's no code, and it is still a system on a chip. It's a cost-effective design, extremely low power consumption. So how low? If with an advertising interval of 1 minute, it could be 900 nanoamp, putting out 0 dBm of RF power. At 10-second intervals, it's about 2.3 microamp. to give you an idea. So on that, a typical battery can last, or a coin cell battery could last a year or multi-year. So to add to that, it's compliant to the Bluetooth specification, version 5.3. We see this being used for real-time asset tracking. The long-distance mode, we can see reception up to 400 meters. Hundreds of meters is not uncommon. We have one partner that put a PA on their demo board, and they demonstrated 1 kilometer off a coin cell battery. So the distance is really impressive, and one of the key value adds for active RFID. It really opens up some new possibilities in what you can do in terms of asset tracking. Like I said, we have multi-year operation on a single cell battery, and we made the operating voltage for the battery quite wide. It can work down to 1.1 volts and up to 3.6 volts. And that's compatible with disposable 1.5 volt batteries. It's available in 2 packages right now, a QFN 18, which is 3 by 3 by 0.55 millimeters, and a DFN 8, which is 2.5 by 2.5 by 0.5 millimeters. And we have an exciting announcement we made last week about a new package, which I'll share more about later on. So the problem we're really trying to address, and a lot of our customers are going after, is real-time asset tracking. And the IM100 really is truly, it's cost-effective, and we see it, one of the value adds is easy implementation, the no-code aspect of it. And a nice thing about using Bluetooth low energy and active RFID is you can get more information about a particular asset. You can add a sensor to it and get temperature very easily. You can get humidity, any sort of, we have a bunch of sensor interfaces to get more information. So if I2C, UART, analog inputs, there's an analog to digital converter on the chip. And we're seeing, this is really driving improved business operations because you can do real-time monitoring. So the feedback so far from the customers is they're quite happy with the performance in terms of power consumption, RF range, ease of use. We've heard stories about people getting their beacon devices up and running in less than a minute. And we do this with a config tool. It's just a program that runs on a Windows machine, a Mac or Linux, and it's a graphical user interface that configures the chip to behave in a certain way. So it's not completely fixed out of the box. There's some options, of course, like advertising interval, whether you want to advertise on a periodic schedule or based on some event. This is all configuration that's easily done from a graphical user interface. So that's what fills in the no-code aspect of it. BLE or Bluetooth is really nice because it's ubiquitous. Any phone, tablet, computer has Bluetooth capability. It's a standard intended to be interoperable. So that opens up a lot of possibilities on the reader side of things. Gateways, aggregators, there's a lot of possibilities there. And we've built in enhanced security for this chip. We know that security is of the utmost importance for this sort of thing. So we have a cryptographic engine built into the silicon. It does encryption and authentication. So we've partnered with Minu, and they've brought to market a $1 BLE tag. So this was in 2019, we were just dreaming of this. And yeah, really happy to say it's coming to the market now. It's very cost effective. It is, they're doing, let's see, over 300 feet of range. They're doing, real-time asset location yeah, they're quite happy with it, and we're really proud that this dream actually is coming to fruition. And there was 2 other, actually, so I talked about we have a wafer level CSP package that we just announced that is actually extremely small. It's very thin. It's 0.35 millimeters. It's 1.1 millimeter by 2 millimeters. And this we see as a big value add for people that want to do printable labels. And speaking of printable labels, we've teamed up with a company called Reelables, and they've made this these labels that have they integrate the NanoBeacon IN100 in them, and as they're printed out of the machine, they're provisioned, and they use a really neat process whereby they use the customers identifying any piece of identifying information for their inventory, whether it's a waybill number, FedEx tracking number, QR code, whatever they've used in their database already, they just scan that and it associates it with the tag. And then that's registered in the cloud, and then they can use that tag for real-time asset tracking. It's a really neat demo. I encourage you to come by our booth, and let's see, we're at booth
837.
837. So yeah, feel free to come by and talk to us. So thank you so much. I'll take any questions.